Have you ever wondered if everything, every joy, every pain, has a purpose? What if the chaos in your life isn't random at all? Buddhism teaches us that nothing happens by accident. Everything, no matter how small or overwhelming, is part of a larger path meant to shape us. Stay with us as we explore this powerful truth, one that might just transform the way you see your life. Discover how ancient Buddhist wisdom reveals that every moment unfolds for a reason. The law of impermanence, understanding constant change. Nothing in this life stays the same. The seasons shift, emotions rise and fall, relationships evolve, and even our own bodies change with time. In Buddhism, this is known as anicca, impermanence, a core truth of existence. Suffering begins when we resist this truth. We cling to happiness, wishing it would last forever, and reject pain, hoping it disappears instantly. But life isn't meant to be held still. It flows, always moving, always shifting. True peace doesn't come from clinging. It comes from accepting. Picture a river. It doesn't stop to grasp a single rock or hold onto a bend in its path. It moves forward, effortlessly. Or a tree in autumn, its leaves fall. But it doesn't mourn. It trusts that spring will arrive and new life will bloom again. In the same way, we must learn to release what no longer serves us. Trust in the rhythm of change. Know that each ending carries within it the seed of a new beginning. When we embrace impermanence, we liberate ourselves. We begin to enjoy the present moment without fear and face challenges knowing they are temporary. If everything is in constant motion, then every hardship, no matter how painful, is not a permanent state, it's only a chapter, not the whole story. Real peace doesn't lie in controlling change, but in moving with it, like water flowing over rocks. When we stop resisting reality and live with gentle detachment, we uncover a tranquility that isn't shaken by the outside world. Cause and effect. Karma in our daily lives. Nothing occurs without a reason. Every thought, every word, every action sends out a ripple. It may not return right away, but it always comes back. This is karma, not as punishment, nor as reward, but as a natural law, like gravity. Karma teaches us that the energy we create, through our choices, our intentions, inevitably returns to us. Whether it's kindness or resentment, each carries a consequence. Understanding this gives us not just responsibility, but power. The power to shape our future through awareness and intention. Just as karma reminds us that our actions shape our future, it also reveals something deeper. Our thoughts and emotions carry just as much weight. Imagine tossing a stone into a still lake. The ripples spread outward in every direction, altering the entire surface. In the same way, every action we take sends energy into the world. Sometimes the effects are immediate. Other times they take years to surface. But one truth remains. Everything we do leaves an imprint. Karma isn't limited to what we do. It's also about what we think and feel. If someone harbors hatred or resentment, even in silence, that negative energy still affects them. It shapes their inner world and eventually influences the outer one. On the other hand, someone who nurtures compassion and patience, even amid hardship, creates a peaceful atmosphere, not just for themselves, but for those around them. The quality of our life is directly tied to the quality of our thoughts and actions. Sometimes we look around and wonder, why do those who seem to do wrong avoid consequences, while kind-hearted people often suffer? At first glance, it seems unfair, but Buddhism teaches us that karma doesn't operate on a human timeline. It's like planting seeds. Some grow quickly, others take months or even years to bloom, but the harvest always comes. The cause always brings an effect. And that's why understanding karma also means embracing personal responsibility. Often, we're quick to blame others, or our circumstances, for what we're experiencing, but when we pause and look within, we can begin to see how our own choices have shaped the road we're on. This awareness isn't meant to make us feel guilty, it's meant to empower us. There's a well-known Buddhist story that brings this to life. A disciple once asked his teacher why some people are born into poverty and others into wealth. Why some seem lucky while others are not? The teacher replied, "If you plant apple seeds, you get apples. If you plant thorns, you get thorns." Each life is a reflection of countless past actions. Every choice we make today becomes the seed of tomorrow's reality. Karma isn't about accepting a fixed fate. It's not a punishment or a trap. Instead, it's a tool, one that reminds us we can transform our life. Every thought we reshape, every intention we correct, every action we choose consciously, that's how change begins. After realizing that karma gives us the power to shape our future, the next step is even more personal. It's about how we use our thoughts, words, and actions to influence our reality, moment by moment. No matter what we've done in the past, whether toward others or ourselves, there is always room for transformation. Every day offers a new chance to act with greater awareness, compassion, and wisdom. In Buddhism, karma is generated in three essential ways: through thought, speech, and action. Each of these has the power to shape our lives and affect those around us. A single hateful thought might seem harmless, but if we feed it, it can evolve into harsh words and even harmful behaviors. On the flip side, a simple thought of love or gratitude can gently shift the way we speak, the way we act, and the kind of energy we bring into the world. This is where mindfulness becomes such a powerful ally. When we practice being fully present and honest with ourselves, we begin to recognize patterns. We notice how certain reactions, like always meeting problems with anger, create an atmosphere of tension and invite more conflict. But if we pause, breathe, and respond with calmness and empathy, we shift the outcome entirely. We start breaking old cycles and shaping a more peaceful version of reality. And karma doesn't stop with just our personal lives. The choices we make ripple outward, into our families, communities, and even the broader world. When we choose kindness, when we choose empathy and generosity, we don't just uplift our own experience, we contribute to a collective sense of harmony. Imagine how a single act of compassion can brighten someone's day and change their course of action. These are the ripples that matter. One of the most important elements in all of this is intention. The why behind our actions matters deeply. Helping someone to get something in return is not the same as helping purely from the heart. The outer gesture may look identical, but the inner energy, the karmic imprint, is completely different. This is why Buddhism places such emphasis on the motivation behind every choice we make. Even though our past has shaped us, it does not define us. Every moment is a new beginning. It doesn't matter how many mistakes we've made. What matters is the decision to begin again. To plant better seeds today. That transformation doesn't require grand gestures. It starts small, speaking more kindly, acting with integrity, helping someone without expecting praise or reward. These might seem like minor efforts, but remember, even a tiny drop of water can send ripples across an entire lake. Every positive choice, no matter how small, leaves a mark. After exploring how our choices shape karma, we now arrive at an even deeper realization. How we respond to life determines our peace. And letting go is the key to lasting freedom. Karma teaches us something powerful. We are not just passive observers of life, we are active participants. While we may not control everything that happens, we do control how we respond to it. And in every single decision, there is a hidden doorway, an opportunity to move toward a life that is fuller, more meaningful, and aligned with our inner truth. When we begin to understand the law of cause and effect, we stop seeing ourselves as victims of destiny. We take back responsibility for our lives, not in a burdensome way, but with empowerment. This awareness grants us greater confidence and inner calm because we realize we are not powerless. Accepting karma doesn't mean justifying pain. It means transforming how we relate to it. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we shift to a wiser question. What is this moment trying to teach me? In that shift, every difficulty becomes a lesson. Every obstacle becomes a stepping stone toward deeper understanding and growth. In the end, everything we do, every thought, every intention, every act, returns to us. Not as a punishment, not as a prize, but as a natural echo of our choices. With that clarity, we begin living with greater wisdom, carving a life path that invites harmony, balance, and well-being. Now let's talk about something that lies at the root of most of our suffering: attachment. Buddhism reveals that our pain often doesn't come from what happens to us, but from how tightly we cling to what we wish would stay. We attach ourselves to people, possessions, emotions, even beliefs, convinced that holding on is the path to happiness. But life is ever-changing. Nothing stays the same, and when what we desire shifts, fades, or disappears, we feel loss and sorrow. The problem with attachment is that it places our peace outside ourselves. We start to believe that without this person, or that job, or those circumstances, we can't be okay. But anchoring our happiness to the uncontrollable is a guarantee for suffering. Letting go doesn't mean stopping love. It doesn't mean giving up or caring less. It means loving freely, without clinging, being present with what is, without demanding that it lasts forever. A love free from attachment doesn't try to possess or control. It allows, it flows, it accepts, and in doing so, it brings us closer to real freedom. The kind of freedom that lifts the weight off our hearts. When we release our grip, something incredible happens. We enjoy the moment without fearing its end. We stop carrying the anxiety that things must remain the same. And in that release, we discover a lighter way of living. True peace doesn't come from holding tighter. It comes from learning to let go of what was never ours to keep. The wisdom of acceptance lies in learning how to flow with life. Not against it, Life, more often than not, doesn't unfold according to our perfect plans. From a young age, we're encouraged to chase our dreams, to strive for success, and to push against obstacles. But very few teach us how to embrace life when it takes an unexpected turn. In Buddhism, acceptance is not weakness, it's a path to inner peace. True acceptance is not about giving up, settling, or passively tolerating what happens. Instead, it's a clear and conscious state of mind. It's the strength to see things as they are, without judgment, without resistance, and without clinging to how we wish they would be. Often, it's not the event itself that causes us suffering, but how we resist it. When something doesn't go our way, we feel frustrated. When others act differently from our expectations, we feel hurt or angry. When circumstances shift, we cling to what was, trying to freeze time, but life keeps moving forward, with or without our consent. Resistance, in all its forms, only intensifies our pain. Acceptance, on the other hand, softens it and allows us to flow with greater ease. Buddhism teaches that everything arises from a network of causes and conditions. Nothing happens randomly, even when the reason isn't immediately clear. Every experience carries a lesson, sometimes hidden, sometimes profound. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can shift our mindset and ask, "What can I learn from this?" There's a well-known Zen story that beautifully illustrates this wisdom. A farmer once had a horse. One day, the horse ran away. His neighbors came to console him, saying it was such bad luck. But the farmer simply said, "Who knows if this is good or bad?" A few days later, the horse returned, bringing with it several wild horses. The neighbors celebrated, calling it great fortune. Again, the farmer calmly replied, "Who knows if this is good or bad?" Later, the farmer's son tried to tame one of the wild horses. He fell and broke his leg. Once more, the neighbors came, lamenting the misfortune, and once again, the farmer said, "Who knows if this is good or bad?" Weeks passed, and the army came to the village to recruit young men for war. Because of his broken leg, the farmer's son was spared. Suddenly, the event that once seemed so unfortunate became a hidden blessing. Just like the story of the farmer, sometimes what looks like misfortune can turn out to be a hidden blessing. Life is constantly unfolding in ways we can't predict, and often, only time reveals the full picture. Accepting reality doesn't mean we become passive or stop taking action. If something causes pain and we can change it, we should. But when something is beyond our control, resisting it only adds more suffering to our lives. True wisdom lies in recognizing the difference between what we can influence and what we simply must accept. This kind of acceptance becomes stronger through mindfulness and meditation. When we meditate, we train ourselves to observe our thoughts without judgment, letting them come and go like clouds drifting across a vast sky. Over time, this awareness helps us face life's changes with greater serenity. One of the hardest things to accept is other people as they are. We often suffer because we want people to change, to love us more, to behave differently, or to think like we do. But every person walks their own unique path, with their own lessons to learn. When we release the need to control others and embrace them, both their light and their shadow, our relationships become more peaceful. Of course, Acceptance doesn't mean we have to approve of everything. If someone treats us poorly, it doesn't mean we should endure it. We can still set healthy boundaries. But instead of demanding someone else to change for us to find peace, we can choose how we respond. That's where our true power lies. It's also essential to learn how to accept ourselves. We are often our own harshest critics, punishing ourselves for our flaws, regretting our choices, or wishing we were someone else. But real growth begins with self-compassion. Accepting ourselves doesn't mean giving up on improvement. It means we stop waging war against ourselves and begin to nurture kindness within. Change is inevitable. Over the course of life, we will experience loss, failure, heartbreak, and disappointment, but we will also encounter love, growth, connection, and new beginnings. Life is a dance between joy and sorrow. And when we learn to embrace both with the same open heart, we find a peace that no circumstance can take away. When we embrace life as it is, without resistance, we begin to uncover a peace that doesn't rely on circumstances. Accepting reality frees us from the constant tension of wanting things to be different. It releases the burden of always needing control and opens the door to a calmer, more grateful way of living. True happiness, as it turns out, doesn't come from having everything go according to plan. It comes from flowing with what life offers us, moment by moment. Each day presents countless chances to practice this kind of acceptance. It starts small, letting go of frustration during traffic, accepting the rain when we hoped for sunshine, or understanding that those around us move at their own pace, with their own stories unfolding. Gradually, these small acts of acceptance train us for the bigger changes in life, those that shake our foundations. Freedom, then, is not about bending the world to our will. It's about adapting with grace and finding our balance in the flow of existence. Through acceptance, we gain something invaluable: the ability to live lightly, confidently, and with deep inner peace. And then come the adversities. Throughout our journey, we face moments that test us: losses, failures, illness, or painful conflicts that seem to have no reason or resolution. These experiences can leave us confused, asking, "Why is this happening to me?" But Buddhism teaches us that within every hardship, there lies a hidden lesson. Even the darkest moments carry a message, if we're willing to look beyond the pain and see the wisdom waiting underneath. Nothing in life is random or meaningless. Every situation, no matter how challenging, is part of a web of interdependent causes and conditions. What we often label as setbacks are sometimes necessary steps in our personal growth. What hurts today may very well be preparing us for something better tomorrow. There's a Buddhist story that perfectly illustrates this. A disciple once saw a caterpillar struggling to free itself from its cocoon. Wanting to help, he gently tore open the cocoon. But instead of soaring into the air, the butterfly that emerged was weak, its wings underdeveloped. What the disciple didn't realize was that the very struggle to break free was what strengthened the wings and prepared the butterfly for flight. Just like that butterfly, we too need our challenges. They shape us. They teach us resilience, patience, strength, and compassion, qualities we would never gain without adversity. Just as the caterpillar's struggle strengthens its wings, our own suffering can shape us if we're willing to listen. Pain often becomes the most honest teacher in our lives. It forces us to pause, reflect, and ask the deeper questions. Who am I beneath all this pain? What can I learn from this experience? Rather than merely being a burden, suffering can reveal our vulnerabilities and give us a rare chance to transform them into strength. Every challenge we encounter offers us a choice: remain stuck in pain, or use it as fuel for inner growth. In life, we may not always receive what we desire, but somehow, we're given exactly what we need to evolve. A breakup might teach us self-reliance. Losing a job could open the path toward a new, more meaningful direction. A health scare might awaken us to care for both body and soul more intentionally. Nothing is meaningless when we're open to learning. Often, it's only with time and distance that we truly understand why something difficult happened. What once seemed like misfortune may later be seen as a turning point, a hidden blessing in disguise. The key is to avoid becoming trapped in complaints, bitterness, or despair. Instead, trust that even when the reason isn't clear yet, every experience serves a purpose. Buddhism invites us to treat every moment, especially the painful ones, as opportunities to grow. So when the storm hits, don't just ask, "Why is this happening?" Instead, ask, "What is it trying to teach me? Is this discomfort nudging me to develop patience? Is it challenging me to release control? Is it preparing me for something greater?" Naturally, the human instinct is to resist pain. We want to avoid it, suppress it, or numb it. But pain, when met with awareness, has a purifying power, just like fire refining gold, burning away the inessential and revealing the core of who we truly are. Every wound points us toward something within that still needs healing. If a harsh comment crushes us, perhaps it's a signal to strengthen our self-worth. If a deep loss leaves us broken, maybe it's a lesson in letting go with grace. Each difficult emotion acts like a compass, showing us where our attention and compassion are most needed. Accepting adversity doesn't mean giving up. It means embracing these challenges as part of our spiritual curriculum. We can view hardships as setbacks or as sacred invitations to evolve. That choice, that interpretation, is what defines our journey. A powerful practice is journaling about the most painful chapters of your life. Write down what happened, then ask, "What did I learn? How did this shape me?" You may be surprised to find that those dark times gifted you with resilience, empathy, or unexpected wisdom. When we start trusting that every challenge carries meaning, we meet life with more clarity and calm. Instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What for?" This subtle shift changes everything. It transforms suffering into strength and gives us the courage to keep growing forward. From learning to grow through adversity, we now move into mastering the present, because that's where true transformation happens. Painful experiences may not feel welcome, but they always come with meaning. Every hardship we endure holds a lesson, a stepping stone to something greater. When we learn to see life's challenges not as punishments, but as invitations to evolve, we no longer fear them. Instead, we begin to meet them with curiosity and courage. Because nothing in life is random. Each difficult moment is a threshold, a doorway waiting for us to cross into deeper awareness and strength. All it takes is the bravery to walk through. This journey of inner evolution leads us to one of the most powerful tools in Buddhism, the practice of mindfulness, living in the now. The human mind has a habit, it constantly swings between the past and the future. We dwell on memories with nostalgia or regret, and we anticipate what's ahead with either hope or anxiety. But how often are we truly present in the moment we are actually living? Rarely. And yet, the present is the only moment that's real. It is the only time we can act, feel, and experience life as it is. Mindfulness teaches us to anchor ourselves in that present, to live with full awareness, unclouded by distractions. When our thoughts dwell on the past, we risk reopening old wounds or clinging to what no longer exists. When we obsess about the future, we build stress on top of imaginary outcomes. But by returning to now, we find clarity, we find peace. Importantly, mindfulness is not limited to meditation. It's a way of being. It means showing up with your full attention in everything you do. When you eat, do you actually taste the food, or are you rushing through your meal, barely aware of the flavors? When you listen to someone speak, are you really hearing them, or are you thinking of what you'll say next? Even walking can become mindful. Feel your steps, the texture of the ground beneath your feet, the gentle air brushing against your skin. Life becomes richer when we stop sleepwalking through it. Unfortunately, most of us live in a fog of distraction. We scroll through our phones while talking to loved ones. We think about work during dinner. We replay yesterday while worrying about tomorrow. We may be physically present, but our minds are scattered. This is where mindfulness changes everything. It reclaims our attention. It brings us back to where life actually happens, here and now. Buddhism often compares the untrained mind to a restless monkey, constantly jumping from one branch of thought to another. Meditation is the training ground where that monkey learns to sit still. In the beginning, it's not easy, but gradually, we become more aware of our thoughts and better at choosing where to focus. A simple yet powerful mindfulness practice is focusing on the breath. Just observe how the air flows in and out. Don't try to control it. Don't judge it, just follow it. Each time your mind drifts, gently bring it back to the breath. That act alone rewires your ability to return to the present. Mindfulness isn't about silencing the mind or erasing thoughts. It's about watching them like clouds drifting across the sky. Without chasing after them, it's choosing not to get swept away. Imagine that level of clarity, living each moment fully, consciously, and with peace. After learning how mindfulness brings us back to the present moment, we now begin to realize just how powerful that awareness truly is. It doesn't just change what we do. It transforms how we live. Imagine your mind as a wide, open sky, and your thoughts as drifting clouds. Some are light and harmless, others stormy and intense, but none of them are permanent. And most importantly, you are not the cloud, you are the sky. You don't need to chase your thoughts or force them away. Simply observe them, let them come, let them go. When we start living with mindfulness, we discover that many of our worries were never real threats, just shadows cast by overthinking. We suffer not because of what's happening now, but because our minds are trapped in the regrets of yesterday or the anxieties of tomorrow. But when we return to the now, we touch a peace that is deeper than any outside comfort. Mindfulness also gives us the greatest gift, the ability to respond instead of react. So often we act on impulse, letting anger, fear, or impatience drive our words and actions. But with awareness, we create space, a small pause, that allows us to choose clarity over chaos, compassion over conflict. In Buddhist teachings, every single moment is seen as a doorway to awakening. You don't need to wait for a silent retreat, a perfect day, or a life-changing event. The invitation to wake up is already here, in the steam of your morning tea, in the sound of birdsong outside your window, in the feel of water against your skin as you wash your hands. Each moment is sacred if you're present enough to notice. Many people spend their lives chasing happiness like it's a destination. Once I get that job, once I meet the right person, once I have more money. But happiness isn't in the future. It's found in how we experience the now. If you don't learn to be present today, no accomplishment tomorrow will fill that emptiness. Mindfulness helps us uncover the beauty in everyday life, the kind we usually overlook. The gentle rustle of leaves, the warmth of sunlight on your face, the taste of your food when you're actually paying attention. These details may seem small, but they are the building blocks of a joyful life. That doesn't mean we'll never face problems. Life still brings challenges, but when you meet them with presence instead of panic, you're no longer trapped in a storm of thoughts. You're anchored. So how do we begin? Start small. Breathe consciously for a few seconds when you wake up. Feel each bite as you eat, instead of rushing through the meal. When someone speaks, really listen, without planning your reply. These practices, though simple, are powerful. Over time, they reshape your entire approach to life. Mindfulness is not some abstract philosophy. It's a daily habit, a practical tool, a way to protect your peace in the middle of chaos. It teaches us that life doesn't happen in the past or the future, it's happening now. And when we fully live in the now, something profound is revealed. Happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you choose. Transforming the mind. From pain to enlightenment. Our mind has the power to shape our experience. It can be our greatest ally, or our deepest source of suffering. Buddhism teaches that it's not what happens to us that causes pain, but how we interpret and react to it. By learning to observe our thoughts without being swept away by them, we reclaim the ability to respond with awareness instead of reflex. Most people live on autopilot, reacting out of habit, but through mindfulness and meditation, we can gently train the mind to pause, reflect, and respond with clarity. The goal isn't to eliminate all pain, but to understand it. Every uncomfortable emotion is a teacher. Every fear, every frustration, is a chance to grow. When we stop identifying with our pain, we start finding freedom, not the kind that depends on external circumstances, but a freedom that lives within. The path to enlightenment isn't a distant mountaintop, it's a way of being, a way of seeing, and it starts here, now, in this moment. Thank you for walking this journey with us through the teachings of Buddhism. If something in this message spoke to you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next. And we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment and share which insight resonated with you most. And always remember, everything happens for a reason. The key is learning to grow through it, not just go through it. Let's keep growing together.